Hello YouTube, this is Larry the Lone Wolf howling through the vast wilderness of the internet, and today I got a very interesting video for you today. This is a series where I'm going to talk about some of the most famous female characters in video games and ones that I specifically have taken a huge liking to, and hopefully you've taken a liking to them as well. We're going to kick this series off with one character who is definitely famous amongst fighting game fans, one who I can only best describe as incredibly tragic. Why do I consider it tragic? Because you literally see this character descend into madness. And that character today is Hibiki Takane. Hibiki Takane made her debut in The Last Blade 2, which was the sequel to the original Last Blade, which is a fighting game series developed by SNK. She also appeared as a guest character in other fighting games such as Capcom vs SNK 2 and Samurai Shodown. Hibiki Takane's backstory, as featured in The Last Blade 2, revolves around a quest for vengeance related to her father. She's the 17-year-old daughter of Genzo Takane, who is a renowned swordsmith. One day, a mysterious silver-haired man named Setsuna, who possessed an evil aurora, tasked Genzo to make him a sword, which Genzo felt unable to refuse. Genzo worked on the sword for 3 months and subsequently fell ill and became bedridden. With his last words, he told Hibiki that this man was the reason for his condition and that she must pursue him to retrieve the forged sword. Following her father's death, Hibiki sets off to find Setsuna, beginning her reluctant journey as a fighter. An additional key aspect of her character is the unique gameplay mechanic in her original game, which is The Last Blade 2. Hibiki starts as a reluctant fighter who is initially horrified by killing. However, as the player progresses and uses her supers to KO opponents, her demeanor can change, leading to an alternate version of her character who is more aggressive and becomes obsessed with ending lives, reflected in a different ending and personality. Hibiki Takane's gameplay style in fighting games, particularly in The Last Blade 2 and her guest appearances, is generally characterized as a technical, mid-range footsie specialist who relies on precision and quick, low-commitment attacks. Her strength lies in controlling the space just outside of close range. She has some of the best, quickest, and longest-reaching normal attacks, aka pokes, in her games, which she uses to pressure the opponent and punish their mistakes. Her moveset visually emphasizes her Muso Shinden Ryu Aido style, the art of drawing and sheathing the sword quickly. Her attacks are characterized by a sudden flash of steel, followed by the sword being instantly put away. She is considered a technical character who excels at poking, counterattacking, and conversion. Her special moves often serve as ways to cover distance or set up combos from a neutral state. Her special moves, like the distance slash, involve her quickly drawing her sword for a long-range slash. These are excellent for capitalizing on a distant opponent's laggy move or simply maintaining pressure. The next move she has is the beckoning slash, which is often a running or dashing slash that allows her to quickly close the distance to continue a combo or rush down a retreating opponent. In games like Capcom vs SNK 2, it works particularly well to disguise her approach. She typically possesses a counter or parry move that can call out careless high and mid attacks, allowing her to reverse the momentum and launch a high damaging follow-up. This move is known as the Heavenly Being Blade. When she successfully lands a combo or is in an enhanced state, like for example the rage mechanic in Samurai Shodown, she can deal very high damage, making her a formidable punisher. No, nothing like Frank Castle. Nothing like that. A unique element tied to her character in The Last Blade 2 is the way her personality subtly changes depending on how the player performs. This would be known as the madness mechanic. If the player frequently uses her super moves to defeat, or in this case, kill opponents in the arcade mode, her character will slowly become more psychotic and bloodthirsty, culminating in a different, darker ending. In games that feature this, such as Samurai Shodown, a slightly different character selection or input will access an alternate Hibiki who is more aggressive and has a different theme and, win quotes, nodding to the story mechanic.
かすり傷一つなし。調子もいいし、もう一人くらい切りたいとこかな。
Overall, Hibiki Takane achieved fame and recognition, even surpassing the main characters of her own series, The Last Blade, due to a combination of factors including her unique character arc and her inclusion in a major crossover title. Her most distinguishing feature is the way her character and ending would change in her original game based on the player's actions. She begins as a timid, reluctant fighter, but if the player uses her super moves to kill opponents enough times in arcade mode, her character model and dialogue will subtly change, depicting a descent into madness and a growing enjoyment of violence. This descent into madness mechanic was a significant and unique narrative gimmick that made her stand out. Her appearance as a playable character in the highly popular crossover fighting game Capcom vs SNK 2 introduced her to a massive audience who may have never played The Last Blade. Her inclusion in this title, which for the record is my favorite 2D fighting game of all time, is cited as a major source of her current popularity. Her fighting style, which emphasizes the clean, quick movements of Aido, drawing and sheathing the sword, is visually sharp and appealing to fighting game players. Her basic combos and movements are described as looking really sharp, making her an attractive character even for casual fans. She is described as the archetypal pure-hearted girl who appeals to the Japanese audience, but her darker edge due to the madness gimmick gives her a more complex and strong design. She is constantly referred to as the fan-favorite character from the Last Blade series, leading to her being the character of choice for subsequent cameos and guest appearances in other SNK titles such as Samurai Shodown. What are your thoughts on Hibiki Takane? Do you love this character? Do you hate this character? Do you love her gameplay style? Is she your favorite Last Blade character or your least favorite? Let's get a whole conversation going about this amazing character that was created by SNK, who is clearly one of the most complex characters that the company has ever written. Otherwise, I will see you all in the next video.